In this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for designing your kitchen. So this is a home that we renovated last year, and you'll be able to have a look through it, and at the same time I'll give you my design tips for designing your kitchen. So this was a really large renovation. We ripped off all of the existing trusses and roof and replaced it with all of these exposed rafters so that we could create that high ceiling cathedral ceiling look. And we've added in these skylights, and truly the effect is quite incredible to walk into this area and see these high ceilings and the exposed rafters. If you're in a position to put in skylights, highly recommended. Just the amount of natural light that you get in the space is really beautiful. So my top 5 tips to consider when designing your kitchen. Number 1, make sure if you have overhead cupboards that you don't leave that ledge open, but rather you run a bulkhead to the ceiling, which we've done here. And in addition to that, we've then also gone and run that decorative timber cornice through between the rafters as well, just as an extra way to dress up the kitchen. And that also ties the kitchen in with the rest of the house where we've used the timber cornice detail as well. So obviously you don't want your cupboards left bare because they end up just kind of collecting dust, and also your eye is sort of drawn to that harsh line as well, which you don't really want. Number 2 would be to consider your fridge placement. So one of my pet hates is when you walk into a home and walk into a kitchen and the first thing you see is the fridge. Fridges are a little bit ugly, so if possible, just be thoughtful about where you place your fridge. Obviously, in an ideal world, you would just have an integrated fridge, so you don't even see the fridge at all. It's hidden behind all of your built-in cabinetry. But if you can't do that, then at least consider putting it in a place where it's not the first thing you see when you walk into the kitchen. This isn't an ideal example of what I'm explaining. The fridge is down there, but at least when you're walking into this space from the front door, your eye is sort of maybe more drawn to the island and the detail on the island, and you don't tend to notice the fridge until you actually walk all the way in and see it there. So try and put it on a less obvious wall if possible. My 3rd tip is to consider your paneling on your end of your island or on the end of your kitchen return or whatever you've got. So whether it's complete custom joinery like we've got here, or if you're doing an IKEA kitchen, either way you can still give some thought to the detailing. So in this instance here, we've gone really decorative. We've got these decorative newel posts here, and then in the middle, we've got the shaker detailing to match all of the other cabinetry in the kitchen. In addition to that, we've also run a skirting board around the base of the island. So that tends to make the kitchen island look more like a built-in piece of furniture, rather than, normally kitchens just have the kick panel, which is set back 20, 30 or 40 mil. So this is a bit of a nicer option. Number 4 would just be to consider the rest of your appliances. Just like the fridge, you don't really want to come in and look at your Thermomix or your old kettle. If you've got some really nice display appliances that are beautiful and that you want on display, that's a different story. But if you've got just your generic appliances, try and hide those away. So the best suggestion is to have either a butler's pantry or a walk-in pantry, so you can hide it all in out of sight. Or in this instance, we've just got an appliance cupboard here. The microwave is hidden in there out of sight. And my 5th tip would be your splashback. I kind of think that gone are the days where you just have your splashback that comes up to 600 mil high. That's the way it's always been done. And actually that's the way that we've done it here, or 700 high. That's because we've got overhead cupboards that run all the way along. In an instance where you don't have overhead cupboards and you can run your splashback tiles to the ceiling, I would suggest that you do that. It's a little bit more expense to do that, but not too much because you've already got the tile here anyway. but I just think that the value added is definitely worth it. So those are my top 5 tips for when you're designing your kitchen.